friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Whoop Wednesday. I think that was the hotel in Miami Beach from NCL Miami last year. Oh, you little... Bring it over here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Teddy, bring it here. Bring it here. He's not going to bring it here. If there's one thing this dog doesn't do is listen to a goddamn word I say. Oh, there he is. Wow. What a little fart bag. There he is. Get it, buddy. Get it. Show the people how you get it. Show everybody how you get it, buddy. Over here. Look at him. Look at his little face. This dog will be the death. I will die saving this dog. Gladly. Do something funny, dog. You already are. You look funny. Hold on, I'm getting the chat going here, my friends. Top chat? No, we want live chat for everybody. Northern Tier is first. Douglas Otwell, Kevin Sumner, Kevin the Alien, FPV Toast, Timmons, Northern Tier FPV, Douglas Otwell, Cole Powers, Frank Nicholas, Freelo Joe, Slow Cal, Hockey Rounds, Raging Leet, Rock Crawler, Tony Morgan, Ren, Wake and Bake, Smoking Dog, Cujo, Siskel FPV, Stavel, Walter Van Den Ord, Mr. BFPV, Troy Prelog, Terry Burnett, Gusto FPV, BLDO 550, McMucus. Where'd he go? That's all it takes with this dog. Make it make the noise. And he loves it. Get it, buddy. Get it. You mount that hot dog. Oh, boy. Mount it good, buddy. Look at him. He's mounting it good. Oh, what a little fart bag. A literal bag of farts. That's right. Go over there, buddy. Stay on camera. Daddy taught you well. Yeah, yeah. Get it. Get it, buddy. Get it. Don't let that hot dog live. Gusto FPV, CBFPV, Matty O, Troy Prelog, Kevin Sumner, FPV Toast, Freelo Joe, Mars, Rock Crawler, Scotty Scott, FPV Your World. I think I got everybody. What's up, friends? Tongue Out FPV. Today is Wednesday, April 24th. April's almost over. What the hell happened? Look at him. Jeez. Things are getting serious. Oh, that's like the first time he's ever gotten it to squeak. Is this... I mean, if he does this for like the next 2 hours, you guys down? Oh, he's figuring it out. Oh! This is way more interesting than FPV, am I right? Oh my god, he's figuring out how to squeak. Oh man, he's gonna make a mess out of everything, isn't he? Oh boy. Oh boy. Yo, I can't believe he's figured out how to get it to squeak live on the stream. That's pretty rad. I've been showing him where the squeaker is for like a month, and he hasn't been able to figure it out. Hold on, let me get the mic up in here. Is that right? Is that right? That's right. Yeah, buddy, good boy. You figured it out. You got your big boy toy. All right. I guess we'll do some FPV related shit. If you want to talk directly to me in the chat, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV. If you do that, it'll light up on orange. You can do that with each other. If you want to get Tony Morgan's attention, type Tony space Morgan into your comment. And for Tony, his name will light up on orange. That's how it works. Rockcrawler says, hey gang, and CiottiFPV. Siskel FPV says, hey gangly peeps. CB says, yo, what's up? Freelojo putting the Patreon link into the chat. Thank you for that. Freelojo also says, we got that. Rockcrawler says, CiottiFPV in chat, I have 2 HDZero VTXs that don't save their settings between batteries. Good God, is that annoying? Anyone run into this? I've never heard of that. Anybody? Anybody? Christopher Concrite says, did you see this motor release T-Motor M0802-2? Micro motor, 25,000 kV. Let's see if we can find it. T-Motor M0802-2. Let's see. Google doesn't seem... Wait! This might be it. M0802-2. 25,000 kV. I don't think this is new. It might be new. Unfortunately, it's got a 1mm motor shaft, and honestly, like, if you're gonna buy an 802, it might as well be a 1.5mm motor shaft. You'll either have a 65mm rig that's completely bulletproof, or you can put it into a 75mm rig and it'll be nice and durable. So yeah, as an 802, especially at this lower sort of KV, 25,000, I can't believe 25,000 is considered a low KV at this point, but it is. Yeah, this is a lower KV, and then it only has the 1mm motor shaft, so it's not, there's really nothing, it doesn't have a whole lot going for it, right? Like, the only way for this motor to be durable is that if you put it on a 65mm rig. If you do that, 25,000 kV is a little too low. Then it's like, well, I'll put it on a 75mm rig. The 1mm motor shaft and then the weight of a 75mm rig, it's just going to bend this motor shaft up. Unless T-Motor uses a much stronger material than HappyModel. But some people have said that. Some people have said that the HappyModel motor shafts bend much easier than other 1mm motor shafts. I've never seen that to be true. For me, they all bend up when I start ragging on them pretty good, and the T-Motors don't seem to be any worse. But yeah, I mean, I guess there's a chance. There's a chance that they used a stronger metal, but I mean, 1mm is not much. That's really, really thin. So even like a titanium, what I would really love is if these guys would do titanium motor shafts, but we kind of demand that that TinyWhoop motors be really cheap, and titanium's kind of expensive. So yeah, I don't know, but this motor, in my opinion, really doesn't have anything going for it. It's too big for a 65mm, and then it doesn't have a 1.5mm motor shaft, which it kind of deletes it from being used on a 75mm build. So it's sort of in this no man's land in between. I wonder what the 2 is. I wonder what this designation is. Like, what did they change? You know what I mean? Let's check this real quick. Is there like an OG version? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So this is old. This is not, I mean, even though it says new here, this has been around for a while. This is just the one-piece bell version of this one here. And this guy here, I actually prototype tested for T-Motor ages ago. And it's totally fine, but again, same kind of deal. 25,000 kV is too low for 65mm, and then for 75mm, you want a 1.5mm motor shaft, so it's sort of in no man's land. Did they make it lighter, maybe? Let's see. Let's see what the weight is. 1.93 grams with wire for the old school 2-piece bell, and then the 1-piece bell, 1.91 grams. That's good. They kept the weight pretty much the same, so that's cool. Yeah. Interesting. I wish any of these motor manufacturers would listen to anything that we say. It would really, really, really be nice. This guy, their 0803 is kind of interesting. But again, the 1mm motor shaft, it really makes it kind of useless. But yeah, this I I'm very tempted to try this 803 on the 75mm Walksnail rigs, but again, it's just like if I like it, it's a nightmare because it's not durable and it's just gonna break all the time. So it's like, all right, let me not try it because I'm not gonna get my hopes up until somebody makes an 803 with a 1.5 mil shaft. That's, man, that would be great. I would absolutely die for an 803 1.5 mil 25,000, 27,000, 30,000 kV motor. What else is happening in chat here? Off axis says, or the number like this. Oh, or the pound sign. Yeah. Oh, and I didn't actually realize you could use the pound sign. That's pretty cool. To tag somebody, I should say. CiottiFPV says, what build do you think the 1003s will work best on? 22,000 kV. I actually, so this is like the on deck area here. And last night I moved this bag, which has a 2.5 inch toothpick frame in it. And I moved this bag, which has a 3-inch toothpick frame in it, over here. Because the 1003s need to go somewhere, and that's pretty much where I think they're going to end up. What I would really like is for sub 250 FPV over on Instagram to get back to me. He was supposed to send me a 2-inch build. He's got a bunch of these toothpick-ish builds, but they're set up more like a school bus style setup. And I'm actually more interested in those than the toothpick builds. I hate the motors in view and the props in view on the toothpick builds, but yeah, I know he there's a lot of demand for his stuff. So yeah. But I'm really looking forward to him getting back to me so that I can get my hands on, hopefully, a 2-inch and a 2.5-inch version of his frames to start screwing around with those 1003s, and I want to also try them on an extra set of these 1002s that I've got. We'll see. I want to start kind of playing around, flying around outside some more. And the ducts on the 75mm rigs really get pushed around a lot by the wind. It makes sense for like a jungle gym basher, but like ripping around in front of the house, behind the house, flying around the trees and shit like that, there's not much of a reason to do it with the ducts unless you live somewhere that has like no wind. So yeah, we'll see. Kevin Sumner says, True Prologue says those are 1.5mm shaft. Yeah, they are not. They are a 1.5mm. Here, let me show you. They're a 1.5mm shaft down below the bell. And I mean, you can see it in the picture. Like that's a 1mm shaft. This is what 1mm motor shafts look like. But then if you look at like this picture here, right, you can see that is 1.5mm down there. So down here, and most of these little TinyWhoop motors are like this. Which is really, really infuriating, where they have a 1.5mm down here in through the stator, and then they thin them down to a 1mm up here, because most of the propellers are 1mm. So yeah, that's admittedly incredibly frustrating, but apparently it's been like that for a while, and I haven't necessarily noticed it. I don't know why all of a sudden they're saying that it's a 1.5mm shaft, because if you look at the old one, it's the same deal. It's a 1.5mm down here, so it's very confusing. I don't quite get it, but yeah, I mean, they look different, right? Like, this is a picture of the new one, and we can very obviously see that it's not a 1.5. Yeah, very weird. Very, very weird. I don't get it. But, hey. I mean, can we, like, find it anywhere else? Maybe this is a picture of a prototype or something like that, or... I mean, I would love it if it was a... Now, see... You alright, buddy? What the hell was that? And like here's the yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell like which one is which. No, it's not. It's a one-piece bell. It's easy to tell. Yeah, you can see it here. Here's some of their promo pictures. You can super obviously see that it's a 1mm shaft up where it meets the propeller. Yeah, super annoying. Super, super, super annoying. But that's FPV. Timon says thoughts on the 1.5mm shaft 0702 27,000 that TinyWhoop just released. Are you kidding me? There was a chance that was going to be my motor with them. Ooh. I wish it was a higher kV. 27,000 kV is just not quite enough. But I love that this, well, I mean, here's the problem, right? 702s you're only ever going to use on a 65mm rig, and there's only one propeller for a 65mm setup that has a 1.5mm hole in it. But hopefully this motor will get GemFan to make a 1.5mm version of the 1210 biblades, the 1219Ss, and then I'm sure that HQ won't. But you never know. Maybe HQ will listen to us and make a 1.5mm version of the YOLO props. I would hold my breath the least for that one, though. But this is cool. This is really, really good. Yeah, I had this idea a while ago, and Jesse and I have not been able to connect to talk about it. So now I'm going to have to go the other route, which is fine. I was leaning towards the something different than this. But yeah, that's awesome. I love that they exist. I wish that KV wasn't so low. The propeller that's currently available that'll work with those motors is a GemFan 1208 tri-blade. It's a little bit too heavy for an 0702, and it's not very pitchy, so you're not really going to get much thrust on it. It's the propeller that I used for the indestructible build with 802 30. Are these the 30,000 kV 802s? Yeah, 802 30,000 kV motors. An 802 has enough grunt for these tri-blades, the weight of the... So these are not the heaviest GemFan props, not the lightest either. The GemFan 1219Ss are extra lightweight. They weigh basically the same as the HQ ultralight tri-blade YOLO props and the GemFan 1210 biblades. These 1208s are significantly heavier than those three propellers, and they pair pretty well with these 802s because the 802s have the grunt to spin them up, speed them up, and slow them down. I don't know how these propellers would be on a 702. I think it would be a little... yeah, I think a 702 would struggle a little bit. I could be wrong, but... yeah, these are a propeller. The weight of these propellers is really, they come alive on an 802. I think I've tried them on 702s before and I haven't loved them. But yeah, again, hopefully this will get GemFan and HQ to make some 1.2-inch propellers with 1.5mm motor shafts. That would be amazing. And then at some point, if we can get like a 32 or a 34,000 kV 702 with the 1.5mm shaft, I mean, then we could have like an actually indestructible TinyWhoop. You know, that one that we built like a week or two ago, like kind of as a meme, just sort of for funsies. I'm not convinced that thing's actually indestructible. It's so heavy from the 802s that it's going to crash hard. It's like 19 point something grams dry. And so it's going to hit really hard and probably break the frame at some point, maybe even the canopy. I don't know. We'll see at Rampage. I'm gonna fly the shit out of it at Rampage by Micro Mayhem. Speaking of Rampage, I realized last night that I'm double booked. I've got a Rock Hill, North Carolina has this massive BMX park, and I got booked a bunch of months ago to live fly their U.S. BMX Championship, which is a 3-day event, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So, yeah. Those of you that are going to Rampage, if you helped me build Micro Mayhem last year, I'm hoping that you're willing to just build it without me this year. I mean, it's mainly just going to be putting a couple of the lights up in the rafters like we did last year, and then the rope lights are pretty much all broken, so there will be no setup there. If you want, you can set the cool lights from McConnell Studios up, but you don't really have to. Like, that can wait until I get there. It's mainly going to be like those 4 big LED panel lights, and just running some extension cords. I believe that Off Axis is flying into Atlanta for Rampage, so I'm hoping that he can fly into Atlanta and then I can leave the lights and shit here at the house, and then hopefully he can swing by here, grab those, and then haul them up to Rampage on Friday. I'm assuming that he's coming in on Friday. Otherwise, if we can't make that happen, I guess what I'll do is Wednesday morning or Tuesday night, when I'm going up to Rock Hill, I guess I'll try to stop in Barnwell and drop the stuff off in Micro Mayhem, and then we'll just hope that it doesn't get stolen. I'm sure it won't, but so yeah, we'll work it out. But those of you that are going to Rampage, if you want to do something cool, because it is kind of fun, like you literally get to set up the area that people are going to be flying in. Yeah, hopefully some of you guys are willing to help out there. I'm super bummed. I was actually really looking forward to going earlier this year. I was going to go up Thursday this year and hang out more before the event, and then maybe even stay until Monday and hang out Monday as well. So at this point, what I think I'm going to do is pack everything into my car, which is kind of scary, but pack everything, go up to the BMX event, and then as soon as I'm done, as soon as the BMX event ends on Saturday, I have no idea when that'll be, but as soon as it ends, go directly to Barnwell, because Rock Hill, North Carolina is like right on the border of North and South Carolina. I think it's a bunch farther west. I think I'll have to go way east, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So hopefully I can get to Rampage Saturday night at a half decent hour. If it's super late, I probably won't even go to GTI. I'll probably just go straight to the hotel and sleep, because I'll be exhausted from 3 days of live flying. But yeah, that's very annoying that those two things are at the exact same time. But at least I'll have all day Sunday, and then I think I'm going to stay Monday as well. So there's going to be a big gap in streams because, yeah, I'm not going to be able to stream that Wednesday, the Friday, the Sunday, and then maybe not even the Monday, but we'll see. I've tried to stream from the laptop remote. It just doesn't work. The internet is never fast or reliable enough, and then my laptop is pretty old and it really struggles. So yeah, but hey, there'll be lots of content for us to talk about and look at afterwards, so that'll be good. Wake and Bake says, we got that. Keela Zebra says, any thoughts? We got that. Christopher Conkright says, I got the new release email for that motor and the Darwin FPV cement stack that is waterproof. No way. Thanks for the answer. I may avoid that motor. Darwin FPV cement stack, huh? Oh, wait, is that the one that says it needs to be water cooled? I saw somebody talking about this. There it is. Darwin FPV cement stack. Is it waterproof or does it need to be water cooled? Something said that it needed to be water cooled, but no, it's waterproof. Okay, good. Water cooled makes no sense. That was probably a bad translation. There we go. IP67, dust-proof and waterproof. Super interesting. I mean, most of my rigs have gotten pretty much fully submerged at some point in their lives, and they've never really had an issue. So, like, I mean, it's very cool, but, and I mean, 132. Jesus, what? What? 100 amp? What? Really? Hold on. Jesus. Where's the, I want to look at what the burst rating are. Where are the ESC specs? Here we go. Wow. What? Oh, here we go. 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 So it's not actually 100 amp. Yeah, see, this is the weirdness. This is the weird. Yeah. I would, with it saying this, I would not assume. I mean, look, you're never continuous 100 amps per channel, 400 amps total. There are no batteries that are gonna do that anyway. So, like, yeah, but good God, man. And look, here's the burst rating of 120, and then the continuous rating of 100. But that continuous 100, yeah, I mean, how would that even work on a boat? Maybe if you were building a submarine quad. I don't know. None of this makes any sense to me. But whatever. Darwin makes good stuff. If it's rated to 100 amps, the pithy like 35 or 30 amps that our batteries and motors are gonna pull, absolute max is gonna be plenty, and maybe this thing will last forever. It won't. These things don't break from too many amps. These things break from smashing into concrete over and over and over again. So yeah, super interesting stuff. I have no idea who this is for, but it's pretty cool. It's probably really heavy too. And oh my God, it's got, whoa, that's really cool. So it's got an ICM 42688, but it also has an MPU 6000. That's really awesome. Run the MPU 6000, and then if it dies, you can run the 46288 at the rest of that gig, and then when you get home, replace it, because the ICM gyro sucks a bag of donkeys. Interesting stuff. I wonder who this is for. My guess would be that this is for military stuff, so that they can, deliver ordnance in the rain. Which is sad that our beloved hobby is turning into a war machine. But what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do, man? Thanks for the for mentioning that. I'd seen it somewhere, and I saw that water cooled thing. I was like, what the hell? YouTube just did the thing, scrolling back up to try to find my place. All Drizzle says, why not just slightly drill the bottom out so you can bottom the props out on the bell, and then it's super durable. Somebody, I don't know if it was you, All Drizzle, but somebody had mentioned this in the past. You would need to drill the bottom out big enough for the C-clip, and then the biggest issue would be, how the hell do you get the propeller off? I mean, yeah, it's an interesting idea, and I like it in theory, but yeah, I wonder how much more durable that would make it too. What I need to do is, next time I get a fresh set of motors, because all my motors are banged up already, next time I put a fresh set of motors on here, I need to try to remember that, and then open up the bottom of the set of propellers that I put onto it, slam them all the way down, and then just crash the shit out of those motors and see if it holds up any better. There's a chance that the propellers all do kind of work their way up on the motor shaft. I don't know what it's from. I don't know if that's from... I assume it's not from the thrust that they're making. I assume it's from crashes. So there's a chance it won't accomplish anything because, like, usually after I've flown 10 or 15 batteries, I have to come around and push the propellers back down. And so, yeah, if that's going to happen, then it's you're going to have the benefit for a couple of batteries, and then it's going to be back to, yeah, normal. But I'm super interested in that. It's going to be a little bit of a double-edged sword, I think, though, right? Because, like, you're going to want the propellers to fit the motor shaft really tightly, so you're going to want to jam the propellers on there so that it doesn't lift itself back up. But then that propeller is going to be really hard to get off. Like, you would at the same time, you would want... Teddy, please, no! At the same time, you would want to open the propeller up so that you have some chance of getting it off, but then the benefit from, right, is kind of lost. So it's a really cool idea, but I gotta try it. I gotta try it at some point, but I need to try it on a totally fresh set of motors so that I can actually see whether or not they've begun to bend or not. County FPV says, after a bunch of crashes, County FPV says, TinyWhoop has 702 1.5 2700s. We just looked at them. Walter says, the titanium shafts are a good idea or hardened metal, so they break instead of bend. Yep, they might as well break, because once they're bent, they're broken anyway. They're useless anyway, I should say. Northern Tier says, looks like the IGOWs are back in stock. No way. No way. Way. Maybe. Let's see. Is it just me, or do they get a bunch of stuff back in stock? Look at all this stuff that's back in stock. Oh, okay. Now hold on. It's not the stuff that we want. Where's the stuff that we want? These are all too low of a KV. Ipomoea. These are still sold out, unfortunately. Where are the IGOW motors? Hey, they are. Look at that. Get them now, my friends. They won't last long. These are amazing motors. This is the motor for a 75mm Jungle Gym basher. Get yourself a set or two of these motors. They're awesome. Get these motors and put them onto a Mobula 7 1S ELRS, and you've got such an amazing platform to go hammer jungle gyms. And then while you're at it, snag some of the 450 mAh batteries. BT 2.0 450 mAh batteries. These guys right... Oh, yeah, so I even though they're lighter, so this version of the motor with the little lead is lighter, I actually don't like these, though, because they don't have that plastic piece, and what happens is they slide out of the battery bay. So, like, when you nose it in, when you crash it nose in like this, the battery will just shoot out of the little battery bay here, and then, like, the wires get all pulled in through there, and it's just kind of a nightmare. The batteries with the plastic piece, that plastic piece is like a stopper, and so when you crash it really hard, the battery stays put, and it can't go. Your battery leads are not long enough for it to slide out backwards if you crash during like a Matty flip in the rear of the rig. So yeah, I don't personally like these batteries. You could probably get away with like just doing a wrap of like hockey tape or electric tape or whatever around the battery to get it to fit nice and tight into the battery bay, and then you'd probably be okay. But I don't know. I run these ones from We Bleed, which have the plastic cover on them. So, but these are very light. This is a super light battery, 11.6 grams for this TinyWhoop 450 with the little lead on it is, I think, half a gram lighter than the ones with the little plastic bastards. With a 75mm rig, you've got plenty of jam. So saving that half a gram is a little bit less important than it is on a 65mm rig, but yeah. Are there any BT 2.0? 450s on here that have that plastic piece on them. 550s from Lava. I know Lava, there are 450 Lavas. It just doesn't look like they sell them here. Let's keep looking real quick. Nah. So, yeah, you're going to have to get your batteries from Weebleed. That's okay. Weebleed's got some really fun stuff. They have some really unique stuff, so do 2 orders. You'll be all right. Good call, Northern Tier. Calvin Hawkins says, just got some BetaFPV 0702 30,000s for my Ovule 6, and I'm getting minute and 30-second runtimes. Is that normal? I'm on PH 2.0. I can't tell you, to be honest. PH2, I haven't run PH 2.0 in a long time. It also depends on how you're flying it. If you're flying it really fast or if you're flying it outside, I can see that being normal. If you're flying it in, like, so for example, those motors on BT 2.0 inside the house, I get over 3 minutes on. But when you go outside, it completely changes because, like, inside the house, you're nosing down like this much because the inside of the house is very small and you can't go fast. Outside, you're going to fly the damn thing like this. And so all that thrust is going to get dumped rearwards to get it moving. So, yeah. What I can say is that a motor that powerful being driven by PH 2.0, it's going to act like a 25,000 kV motor. Like you're not going to get anywhere near the limits of that motor. You really need to get that thing on the BT 2.0. Your flight time is going to go way up and your amount of power is going to go way up. So yeah. Depending on the previous motors that you had, the PID loop might be overactive. So do this. Take your master multiplier and move it down a bunch. If it's at 1.0, move it down to 0.6. Fly the rig just to see what the flight time is. If the flight time gets drastically better, then your PID loop was overactive. Move it back up and then just start creeping it down like 0.1 at a time. Eventually, you'll get it to the point where you get that runtime back, and that means your PID loop is not overactive. That's the easiest way to tune it. There's much better ways to tune it, but that's like the super, super, super easy button way of tuning it. FPV Your World says, thanks for watching the other night. My pleasure, man. I love that you guys stream Tuesday nights because, yeah, I get work done those nights, and it's nice to watch somebody. It's nice to leave somebody else's stream on when you're building or doing other things. You know, you guys tell me that all the time. But yeah. Oh shit, off axis. That's right. It's Castle Crash, not Rampage. Oh god. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna have to. Fuck. I'm gonna have to stop at Rampage on my way to Rock Hill. This whole. Oh my god, that. This is gonna suck. Maybe not. Let's see. Rock Hill, 3 hours and 36 minutes. What direction? Show me the direction maps. Oh, wow. Rock Hill is very east. Okay. Well, shit. So what if I do this? I'm going to hit go on Rock Hill, and then I'm going to add a stop in Barnwell. Barnwell, South Carolina. Add a stop. No, idiot. No, don't. Okay, hold on. So, oh, that sucks. Barnwell is like southeast. Rock Hill is northeast. Oh my god. Well, it's not too bad. It looks like it adds an extra hour and change. Oh my god. This is going to be brutal. Well, whatever. It's my bad for double booking. I should have said no to Rampage. Oh yeah, it's the same road. Route 3. It looks like, yeah, I get on Route 3 and drive an hour south, and then I get right back on it and drive an hour north. Ugh. Oh well. It's my own fault. I probably wouldn't have said no to Rampage anyway, though, because being able to go to it on Saturday and then hang out there all day Sunday and then maybe Monday as well, yeah, like that's pretty cool. Damn. Okay. Well, is what it is. Kevin Sumner says, are you sure it's Rock Hill, North Carolina? There's a Rock Hill, South Carolina. Yep. If you search Rock Hill BMX, it's a massive BMX track. It's right on the border of North and South Carolina. YouTube just did the thing. Hold on a second. Come on. Oh, I'm way caught up. I'm way not caught up. I wish I was caught up. I'm way behind on chat. Car Guy for Life says, are we even car guys if we don't have a radiator in our quads? Yeah, right. AJ Farah says, it can do 100 continuous amps in a rainstorm. I don't think that's what it is. I think it literally needs to be submerged. But you never know. You never know. I think AJ Farah might have been kidding. Christopher Conkright says, the motors work their way up due to vibration and centripetal force. The prop works its way up. Could be. I'm not totally convinced of that. I don't think there's enough vibration to pull it up. I think it has to do with crashing. I think crashes jolt the propeller on the motor shaft enough to get it to just kind of inch its way up. Yeah, I don't know. Or like if this is the bell, if my thumb is the bell and then this is the motor shaft, right now we're able to get the propeller down pretty much like that far. And then you've got the C-clip here that prevents it from going down any farther. So I wonder if in crashes, the propeller kind of does one of these and then it like leverages itself. I don't know, whatever. Next time I put a set of fresh motors on a rig, I'm going to try it. I'll open up the bottom of the propeller, drop it all the way down against the bell. And then we'll just see. We'll see if those propellers move their way up. If those propellers move their way up the shafts on their own, then it's not worth it to do that. If they don't, then it might be worth it, but we still got to wait because it might not actually help. It might just bend the shaft regardless of where the propeller is. But I love that idea. I love the idea of the propeller dropping all the way down and the wide base of the propeller being against the top of the bell. Like that, in theory, that totally could work. Paulie Shortcuts says, what kind of FC should I get with those IGOW motors? The lowest amp rating AIOs are 5 amp, and they work with motors all the way up to 1002, 1102, and beyond. So yeah, 802s are not going to stress it at all. So yeah, at the moment, unfortunately though, there really are no good TinyWhoop AIOs. The old school HappyModel 5 amp 2G4 has been discontinued, and it's impossible to find. The Mobula 6 2024 AIO is not available yet. The best one that there is at the moment is the BetaFPV cross style, but then you got to run an external VTX, which for me is a bit of a deal breaker. So at the moment, it's kind of like, just wait. I hate that, but Rob Axelson says, hola, I got tomorrow off, or hola rather, not hola. I'm not that white. Clem686 says, will you sell me some TinyWhoops? I'll pay $1,000 for a kit. If you're willing to pay $1,000 for a TinyWhoop, done. I don't know what you mean by kit, but yeah, if you're gonna, you said some TinyWhoops. I could do like 3 TinyWhoops for $1,000. I don't know what you mean by kit though. I have a feeling by kit you might mean transmitter, goggles, and all that other stuff. And yeah, I will not sell you that for $1,000 because that's pretty much like retail is $1,000 when you put everything together. But you can certainly hire me through Fiverr, and we can do a build planning session for half an hour or an hour. And then I can help you figure out what to buy for yourself if you have that money to spend. That's one of the best things that anybody can do, especially when they're new, so that they don't waste money on garbage, which is what we've all done. So yeah, that's an option. Speaking of, CiottiFPV.com is my little website with a bunch of different ways that you can support me and help yourself. Patreon will get you the most benefits and puts the most money in my pocket in terms of like the amount of money that these companies take away, percentage wise, to, you know, for them to stay in business. So join the Patreon, you'll love it. There's a link for Fiverr. On Fiverr, the 3 gigs that I've got just to get your creativity going. But like, you know, you're buying a half an hour of my time. Whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about. But the 3 things that I do the best and I can really help out with is build planning, to make sure that you build something that's actually designed for your specific use case, rather than just seeing some stranger on the internet and copying their build and hoping that you fly exactly the way they do, in the exact same spots the way they do, you crash exactly as hard as they do and exactly as often as they do, which is unrealistic. So yeah, build planning, flight instruction in the simulator, and then PID tuning as well. But I mean, if you've got a half an hour of questions, it's all good. Whatever you want to do in the session is my pleasure to help you work through it and get some actual good info, rather than reading Facebook and getting literally more than 50% just completely erroneous information. There's also an Etsy store where you can buy some fun stuff, and there's a whole bunch of affiliate links. It's 2024. If you're not using affiliate links when you check out on the internet, you're hurting the people that you watch on YouTube. So use affiliate links. Max Melner says, I know you don't like toothpicks, but I built a Nothinga by Dow Design, and it absolutely rips. They got a new frame too. I'd love to see a Ciotti toothpick build this summer. You might, you never know. I have these 2 frames. They're just sitting here. I might throw something together. But if I can get my hands on the sub 250 FPV frames, I would much rather do those. But you never know. Like toothpick or sub 250 FPV frame or like whatever, it doesn't matter. Frames don't matter anymore. Like every once in a while at this point, there will be a frame that is genuinely bad, but like 90+% of frames are now good to go. And yeah, it really doesn't matter. Like as long as the frame is somewhat decent, it has nothing to do with anything. It's all about the propellers, the motors, and the battery that you choose, and to some extent the AIO. But yeah, mainly propellers, motors, battery are what like drive 99% of the flight characteristics of a quad. So the sub 250 setups that I'm gonna hopefully build, you guys will be able to copy that formula into whatever frame you want, and it'll just hammer. Rob Axelson says, gotta update my OpenTX so I can install EdgeTX so that I can install elrs. Christopher Conwright says, could you not? Could I not? What? Calvin Hawkins says, that helps. I've been pushing it hard inside and out. Rob Axelson with $5 super chat. Thank you, homie. I've been pushing it hard inside and out. I'm moving to BT 2.0 soon. Awesome. Charging some batteries, and I'll play with the tunes tonight. Awesome, man. Let us know how it goes. Christopher Conkwright says, could you not ship the lights or check the cost? Ship the lights? Oh. Yeah, no, it would cost a fortune. I have 2 massive plastic tubs of stuff. It would just cost a fortune. I could ship it there though, because GTI, the place that it's held at, is like a business. Like they're there to receive shipments all the time. I can put it into stamps.com. Yeah, I'll weigh. Do I have a scale? Yeah, I can use the bathroom scale. Yeah, it's an interesting idea. I think it would cost like $100 in shipping though, because like they're heavy. Like I struggle to pick them up. That's a good idea though. YouTube just did the thing again. Whatever. Rabox is in with a $5 super chat. He says, I'm sure I owe you this and more. Thank you, brother. You owe me nothing. You owe me friendship and hanging out and supporting me, which you always have done, man. So you are at a, we're even, brother. We're all even, friends. Whatever you guys can do, do it. Whatever you can't do, don't do it. It is all good. Kevin Sumner says, if it's Rock Hill, South Carolina, south of Charlotte, I'll be driving through there to Rampage. Interesting. Hold on, let me just double check. Rock Hill BMX Park. Maybe it is South Carolina. Hold on. It's here. This is it. Rock Hill BMX Playground. Rock Hill BMX Supercross Track. Yeah, it's south of Charlotte. There it is. Wow, okay. It is South Carolina. But yeah, so this is where it is. And then Rampage is all the way down here somewhere. Dude, amazing. Yeah, if you're driving through basically Charlotte, it's south of Charlotte here. Yeah, if you're driving through there, brother, if you could pick up those lights, that would be insanely cool. That would be super, super, super helpful. We'll talk. 1B674H says, have you flown the Grinderino yet? I have not. Soon. I swear to God, I'll fly it soon. I swear. I still haven't really flown outside other than like these 75mm rigs. I've been super focused on the 75mm Walksnail rigs. Now that I've tried sort of all the motors, though, like I'm kind of done for the moment. But I'm just trying to take a breath. It's been unbelievably busy, and yeah, I just need to breathe for a minute. It's been a crazy couple of months here. Good crazy, but crazy nonetheless. Jay Hines says, can you give me a quick rundown on board orientation? One of my Mobula 6s, when I pitch forward down, instead it goes up. So yeah, board orientation is super straightforward. The easiest thing you can do is orient the board the way that it wants to be set up. Sometimes they'll have a little arrow on the board and you put that arrow forwards. On most TinyWhoop AIOs, you just put the USB at the back. The USB at the back is usually the correct orientation. Not always, though. HappyModel, at some of their old AIOs, were set up 90 degrees because they built a rig at some point. I think it was the Moblite with the USB port on the side. So yeah, every once in a while, it's super straightforward. Here, let me show you the cheater's way of doing it, but it works totally fine to do it like this. This is the quickest way of doing it because like it's weirdly confusing. So just so this is like the caveman way of doing it. You plug your quad in, you look at this picture here, and you make the physical quad in your hands go nose down, nose up, roll left, roll right, yaw left, yaw. It doesn't really pick up on yaw, but it should, but for some reason it's not. But that's okay. If it does not match, if the physical quad that you're holding here does not match, all you got to do is go into configuration, and it's right here, board and sensor alignment. More often than not, it's just yaw. So put 90 degrees of yaw in here, and then save and reboot, and try it again. And come back in here and do the test. If it's right, great. If it's not, change it to 180 degrees yaw. Try it again. If that's not right, change it to 270 degrees yaw. If it's still not right, then you need to do either pitch or roll. It doesn't matter which one, because you're going to give it either 180 pitch or 180 yaw roll, and it's just going to tell it that you're flipping the board upside down, basically. And then you're going to have to play that same little game with the yaw. Try it at 90, see if it's right. 180, see if it's right. 270. It'll have to be right. And that's it. That's every orientation, right? It's either right side up or it's upside down. It doesn't matter if you pitch it or roll it. And then the yaw is going to correct the directionality of it. So the roll and pitch correct upside down, right side up, and then the yaw corrects rotation, and that's it. And you're good to go. That's all there is to getting the board orientation correct. And you just do it right with that picture. You don't have to come out of, you don't have to like arm it or anything like that. Just make sure it's right on that picture and you're good. Good question, dude. Polly Shortcut says, do you still fly the tiny lifters? Not as often as I should. I just got an Insta360 Go 2 and curious if it's worth the build. I love flying them. I really do. But it is a real TinyWhoop flight experience. Like, it's they're great for they're not necessarily fun to fly. You're not just gonna like go out in the front yard and rip a tiny lifter around. If you have like a subject, they're really fun to fly. So like I'll bring them with me on gigs, and sometimes like if I'm worried about the RF, or if I just want to put something, like I try to not put the bigger stuff up in the air until I absolutely have to, from just like a liability standpoint. Like I don't want it to fall out of the air at the worst possible time on somebody's head, you know, like even when I'm testing. And like a lot of times when I'm testing, the set is not closed, so there are people randomly walking around, and so it's a little bit more sketchy in that kind of scenario, and that's perfect for the tiny lifter. And like I'll throw the Insta360 on it just for fun, basically. But yeah, it's a very cool build, but like it's super top heavy and it's super heavy in general. And so like it's not a freestyle build at all. It is 100% TinyWhoop / like lifter. Like it flies like a lifter. It flies like a really weighted down TinyWhoop. So if you have a scenario where that's a fun thing to fly, then yeah, for sure, it's a really interesting build. But it's not a freestyle rig in any way. Like you're not going to bring it out and dive a building with it. I mean, it would be kind of cool to dive a building with it, but I don't think aerodynamically, I don't think you would want to. So yeah. It's a pretty specific thing, is all I can really say, I guess. So hopefully that helps you. Or if you have a really cool spot to fly. One of my favorite thing that I've done so far with the tiny lifter is on the channel here, and it was flying inside of a Japanese maple. So like if you have a really interesting something to fly through, it's amazing, right? So this is it. This is like a perfect use for it. I'm gonna drop this link into the chat real quick. Yeah, this is such a beautiful use for it. You know, I'm in this is at Stone Mountain, so it's considered like a national park where drones are a no-no, but it's a little stupid toy, and like nobody's gonna say anything about this. So like if you want the best possible image quality, yeah, from something infinitely small and toyish and quiet and all that, it's great for that. You could make a really strong argument though for something with O3, like the Pavo Pico, or like any of those really small rigs that carry the O3. But then you got to buy O3 goggles, and you know, it costs a fortune, whereas this is analog. So yeah, this is basically like the analog version of the Pavo Pico, all those kind of rigs. You know what I mean? So yeah, but it's again not a freestyle rig at all. You have to have something really interesting to fly it around. But hey, if you've got some really cool looking trees, it's very difficult to do this here. This is extremely tough, but it is absolutely doable. And it's heavy enough with the Insta360 Go on it that it'll like actually fall down through the tree. Like the one thing I wasn't totally worried about was getting it stuck in this tree, just because I knew it was so heavy it would come down. A regular TinyWhoop flying through a tree like this, if you go, you know, if you put one of these little tiny pieces of scraggle through the ducts, it's up there forever. So yeah, this was really fun. I remember that day like it was yesterday, actually. That was a great day. Kevin Sumner says, Clem686, first tag CiottiFPV if you want him to read your messages in chat. Second, CiottiFPV.com has all the links. Clem said a bunch of stuff. I just got HDZero goggles. Everything's out of stock. I have charger and HDZero goggles with like antenna kit and stuff. Deal. Where's the link? Clem, yeah, I don't usually sell stuff, but I mean, money talks. So message me. All my contact info is on the website. And yeah, I don't know. Off Axis says kit like David Hasselhoff's car on Knight Rider. What's that in reference to? Did I say kit about? Oh. Right. Timmons is in the house. He says, just ordered the IGOWs for a basher build. Are the HQ prop ultralights going to be inefficient on those? It doesn't matter because they're only a 1mm hole in those HQ prop ultralights, so they won't work. The only 1.5mm motor shaft propellers are made by Gemfan. Luckily, the Gemfan 1610 1.5mm shaft are brilliant. Those are what you want. They will rail on those motors. Just make sure you get the 1.5mm motor shaft version. Jay Hines says, how much do you charge for the consultation that you were talking about earlier? It's $60 for an hour, $40 for a half an hour. Scrolling back up, YouTube did the thing, of course, because it hates me and wants me to lose my mind. Rob Oxison, thanks again for the $5. AJ Farrow with a $5 as well. He says, we're all so different, but have so much in common. Life is a beautiful thing. It is indeed. Fly High is in the house as well. What's up, homie? AJ, thank you as well. Thank you again, rather. Euro FPV says, are you talking about the sub 250 baby turtle? I think so. He's got the baby turtle. He also has like the bat. I don't necessarily know what the difference is between them, but I want to get my hands on some of his frames. I need him to get back to me. Euro says, what kind of build do you plan to do on it? I'm not really sure. I'll probably try 1S first, and then if that's not enough power, I'll go to 2S. It depends on what the frame weighs. I'll have to weigh them when they get here, and see what's happening. Fly High says, super stoked to hang with CiottiFPV at Castle Crash. You can fly my Grinderino 1604 3800 kV. We'll compare. Mine is on 1804. What are they, 4000s? No, they're 3500s. That'd be a cool comparison. I mean, I've flown both of those motors. I know what the comparison will be, but for other people, it'll be a cool comparison to fly those back to back. There's a definite, the 1804s are a very specific motor. Although I'll have mine set up with 3-inch props, but I mean, whatever, we can switch to propellers. Jay Hines says, my USB is at the top out of the box. Go figure. God, that's so weird. Yeah, what's the rig? What is it? Jay? CMYK says, yo. Kevin Sumner says, PNW vids, be sure to tag me. Scrolling back up. PNW vids says, are you posting all this test info anywhere? What do you mean by all this test info? What's that mean? Make sure you tag me this time. Just type CiottiFPV into your message. If you do that with anybody's name for that person, it shows up in orange, and they'll know that you're talking to them. Otherwise, it just gets lost in the billion other messages. Metadurtson says, one shortcut is when turning the... I think he meant to say tuning the quad in Betaflight. Turning the quad. No, he didn't mean turning. When turning the quad in Betaflight, whichever axis moves correctly, that's the one that needs to be rotated around. If the yaw is okay, rotate the flight controller on the yaw axis. Yeah, it's true. That's a good way of thinking about it. I like that. Kevin Sumner said, man, I almost like had a moment where I was like, wait, what? But then it connected. Kevin Sumner says, Blake Turner, got to use the whole CiottiFPV to tag him. Blake Turner says, thanks, Kevin, and all the other guys that are catching the people that are not tagging me. I appreciate it. Blake Turner says, what is the tool for loosening props? Looked like 2 drill bits either end, and what are the bit sizes? So I think maybe I have one of these left. It might have sold, though. I'm a day or 2 behind on my emails. So there's a chance that I don't have any of the pin vices left. But yeah, this is a pin vise. The pin vices are just designed to hold drill bits. So I got a bunch of dual-sided pin vices, and I put 1.5 millimeter drill bit in one side and a 0.99 millimeter drill bit on the other side, so that you can very lightly drill out your propellers to remove just a tiny little bit of plastic material. You just put it in there and then take it back out. You're not trying to remove a lot of material, just a little bit. And then you put it on the motor, and if you're still having to really push it onto the motor, stop and hit it again. And yeah, you can take off a little bit more. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that one of these two has already sold. There might be an email waiting for me with a $40 PayPal buying the other one. So hold off. Don't PayPal me $40 if you want the last pin vise, potentially the last pin vise. Message me and say, hey, do you have any pin vices left? And the first message that I have wins. The last pin vise is probably going. I think I saw a $40 PayPal, and I didn't see, hey, I want the purple one. So the last pin vise is I heat treated it to try to make it all cool and purple, and it didn't quite work out as good as I'd planned. It looks okay. It doesn't look bad, and I mean, who gives a shit? It's a fucking tool. It's gonna sit in your toolbox, but yeah, it's a little bit. I don't know. It's a little bit ugly, but it's a tool. I think it looks kind of cool, but I showed it off, and nobody has. I keep showing it off and saying like, hey, if you want the purple one, just put it in your note that you want the purple one. And I've sold 9 of these now, and nobody has wanted the purple one. So I guess you guys agree with me that it's kind of sloppy and ugly, which is fine. It's okay. Christopher Conkright says, can I use any aftermarket antenna for Walksnail? Sorta. I need a longer cable for my Synolog 35. Wanted to do RPSMA to UFL cable, 75 millimeters. Unless you've changed it, typically all of the digital systems use left-hand circular polarization rather than right-hand circular polarization. Analog has always used right-hand circular polarization. When DJI first came out with the original Vista, they chose to go left-hand, and then everyone else in the digital world has followed suit. So most digital stuff is left-hand circular polarization. It doesn't have to be. You can absolutely throw away the antenna that you get with all your digital stuff and just run right-hand on everything. There's no reason not to do it. You just have to make sure that you're really running it on everything. You got to have right hand on your goggles and on the quad. So yeah, there's the full answer. Blake Turner says, we got that. Frank Nicholas says, your flight through the Japanese tree was like my second Avata 2 fly through a large maple tree in our yard. It's a cinematic cruiser fly. Awesome image on the Avata 2. I can only imagine. Yeah, the Avata 2 will legitimately outperform in terms of image quality the Insta360 Go 2. The regular O3 system, I've seen some stuff that looks unbelievable with it. I've seen some stuff that looks kind of okay. And then with the Insta360 Go 2, same deal. Like, I've flown some stuff that looks ridiculously good, and then I've flown some stuff that just kind of looks okay. But yeah, the DJI 04 system is incredibly impressive. So yeah, the Avata 2 image quality puts sort of everything to shame, to be honest. Even GoPro Hero 12s. So yeah, there's some. We're going to see TinyWhoops get drastically redesigned when the 04 system comes out because of how good it is, because of how big the sensor is, because of how good it is in low light. GoPro better hurry the fuck up and come out with a 1-inch sensor camera, or they're going to get left for dead. AJ Farrett, we got, there it is. Hat Trick with a 20 Canadian Californian dollar super chat. Thank you so much, homie. He says 1102 22,000 kV motors beta cross AIO with plugs. Motor doesn't get up to idle on arm. New motor will fix. Gone through 5 motors in 2 months. Touched up the solder on the plugs. Didn't fix. Swapped motors 5 minutes ago to check the ESC versus motor fixed. Motor doesn't get up to idle on arm, but a new motor will fix it. So so you had a motor that was twitching, I'm guessing, when you would arm it, and then you swapped on a new motor and that fixed it. But then you say that does that keep happening? And so you've gone through 5 different motors in 2 months. So this has happened on 5 different occasions, and you keep swapping the motors and it keeps fixing it. If that's the case, my main question is going to be, is it happening on the same ESC channel? Is it always on motor 1? Or is it like it's on motor 1, then it's on motor 4, then it's on motor 3, then it's on motor 2, right? That's the main question. If it keeps happening on the exact same ESC channel, let's just say it's motor 1. If it's always happening on motor 1, you probably need to replace the AIO. There's probably one of the 3 FETs on that channel is starting to die. If it's moving around, then and you can do this to try to solve it in either scenario. You want to turn up your ramp up power. Go into Blue Jay or BL Heli, whichever you've got, and take your motor startup. It's either called motor startup power or ramp up power, but there's 2 sliders for it. They're the sliders that are all the way in the top right. They're like the very first 2 sliders. Just max them. Max those 2 sliders out, and that'll probably fix the issue. But if it's happening on the same ESC channel over and over and over again, motor 1, motor 1, motor 1, motor 1, replace the AIO and the problem will go away. AJ Farris says, can your hand... thank you again, Hat Trick, for the extremely generous super chat, man. Much appreciated. AJ Farris says, can your hand drill be used to drill 1mm props to fit 1.5mm props? Shafts, right. Technically, yes, but they more than likely will not be balanced when you do that. If you want to try to do that, what you want to do is get a drill bit kit that has 1mm, 1.1mm, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. And then you want to step up as you drill it. You're going to drill it 1mm. You're going to go to 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. Actually, stop at 1.4 and test fit it. It's going to be too tight, more than likely, but there's a chance that the tolerances on whatever drill bit kit that you get are shit. So stop at 1.4 and test fit it. It probably won't go. Don't push too hard. And then what you want to do is take the 1.5mm drill bit and just like, if this is the hub of the propeller, run the drill bit through until it just barely comes out the other side, and then pull it and try that propeller. If the tolerance is, and it's actually like 1.51 or 1.52mm drill bit, you don't want to drill the prop to be too loose. So yeah, but if you just go directly from 1mm to 1.5mm, it almost certainly will not be well balanced. The drill bit will either be off center like this, or it'll go through at an angle, and the propeller will do this. In either case, it's going to be a nightmare, and the propellers are worthless at that point. Jay Hines says, an old Mobulus 6. Yeah, flip that AIO over. Put the USB port where it belongs. Put the USB port in the rear of the rig where it belongs, and then just work it out on the board orientation, and you'll be good to go. It's really dumb to have the USB port pointing straight up, in my opinion. Fly High says, I've got 1604, 1804, 3400, 1507, 2203 and a half is way too big for one of these guys. Lots more options than just the big boys these days. Keep working my way down towards whoops. Nice. I think you're not talking about. I thought you were saying that you've got Grinderinos built with 1 with 1604s, one with 1804s. I think what you're saying is that you have those different motors in stock. Very cool. Very, very cool. Walter says, hang on. YouTube just scroll me to the bottom again. There we go. Walter says, I have response in Betaflight, but the visual drone does not move. That's not good. Is your gyro turned on? Make sure that your gyro is turned on. Make sure your accelerometer is also turned on. That's weird, man. I've never run into that. I don't know what else that could be other than the gyro being turned off. County FPV says, I asked about the rolling screen and you mentioned rapid fire 1, 2, or 3. My Skyzones have different mixes. Is that the same idea? Could be. Bad weather, so I haven't tried yet. I'm going to assume so. It depends on which Skyzones, but if you have a set of Skyzones that have some sort of sync pulse reconstruction or some sort more fancy version of diversity, yeah, change the modes. If there are modes or mixes you said, change it and try it. That's my guess is going to be that that's the same thing. EuroFPV says, I have a spare 2-inch baby turtle frame. If you want to build going, I'm willing to send it over to you. I am super backed up, Euro, so no huge hurry. I'm actually wanting to talk to sub 250 FPV about the motor protection on the ends of the arms. I'm really hoping that he's willing to make a couple little changes to the file. His stuff gets cut at CNC Madness, I believe it is. So like he doesn't, they're cut like on the fly. So I'm really hoping that I can kind of talk him into adding a little bit more motor protection for a lot of extra durability on these things. I appreciate the offer though, dude. But yeah, I'm trying to get him to just add a little bit of extra carbon there, which will make the build much more durable during crashes. It just basically won't destroy motors all the time. That's the biggest issue that I had back in the day with toothpicks. Jeremy says, what do you think of the Firefly 16 Nano? I think it's awful heavy, but other than that, it seems okay. I've heard some people say that they love it. I had a guy hire me through Fiverr to help him try to tune it, and we had a hell of a time getting it tuned because of how heavy it is and because of how it just doesn't have a lot of thrust. It's got the Flywoo 1002 23,500s, which are great, but then it's a rig to be flown outside, and so like inside those motors are kind of okay, but then when you get them outside, yeah, you just kind of want a little bit more. I'm looking for a weight on it. If you sell a bind and fly and you don't tell me what it weighs, burn in a fire. Come on, man. Are you kidding me? Jesus, thank God. 26 grams. So the analog version is 26 grams. So here's the easy comparison, right? It's a 1.6-inch propellered rig at 26 grams. If I take one of these Jungle Gym bashers here and I weigh it, no, not bad. 24.4 grams for a little, basically Mobula 7 1S ELRS. Oh, this is the one with the X12. So this one's a little bit heavier, but so it's 2 grams or so heavier. Oh, the hell was that? It's 2 grams or so heavier. It's got roughly the same amount of junk blocking thrust. Maybe it's got a little bit extra because carbon fiber is a lot less aerodynamic than the the little plastic standoffs on the prop guards. So yeah, here's the thing though. With these motors, the 1002 23,500, really they're 22,000. They're not. It's not a motor that has enough kV. The best thing you could possibly do to this rig would be to buy a set of IGOW motors and put those on. That would make a massive difference. So yeah, the motors that this thing comes with don't necessarily make a lot of sense. No, it's not that they don't make a lot of sense. It's just that they're not a high enough kV. Oh, wow. Definitely don't get this version here. This only comes with 19,800 kV motors. That would be a fat pig. So yeah, make sure, if you're going to get it, make sure you get the version with the 23,500 kV motors. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really understand these rigs. like if you're gonna fly something like this outside where there's no propeller guards to slow it down, you might as well just build a 3-inch toothpick. Like these 1.6-inch toothpicks, to me, they don't have enough power to like play around up in the trees and whatnot, and then they're too slidey to shoot really small gaps. So I just when I fly them, I'm constantly either wanting more power or cursing them for not being as accurate as something like this. So I don't know. They don't seem to do anything well. Like they don't shoot gaps well. They don't have enough power to really throw up over trees. So I just kind of don't understand them. I have a it's basically the same thing as the Babito, just with slightly bigger props. It's really kind of the same thing as the Newbie Drone Mosquito. And I've flown both of these things a bunch, and I just don't get it. Like the entire flight experience is, oh my god, why is this so goddamn slidey? If it's going to be this small, it might as well fly like a TinyWhoop, which is not slidey because of the vertical duct surface. And then, oh my god, I wish this goddamn thing had more power. I can't even do anything. So yeah, they're I don't quite understand them. But I know that a bunch of people have them and say that they love them. I think a lot of those people just haven't flown yeah, I don't know, other stuff that flies better than them, but I could be wrong. I can't figure them out personally. Walter says, thanks, I'll try again. 1B67-4H says, after flying your ultimate freestyle TinyWhoop build for a couple months, I'm ready to step up. What would feel the most similar to a full power 6S 5-inch rig, or keep it small with Grinderino or SM like that? Nothing's gonna feel like a 5-inch rig other than a 5-inch rig. So we have to say that starting off. The bigger and heavier you go, the closer it's gonna feel to a 5-inch rig. So yeah, I mean, there's no easy answer to that. But yeah, I mean, that's really it. Like the all up weight of the rig is what makes it carry when you're off throttle, like a 5-inch build. So yeah, there's just no way to get one of these things to fly like a 5-inch rig. Like, you can get every different size of build, you can get it to fly really good. And most of, like, at this point, when I say like flies like a 5-inch, what I'm saying is that it flies good. And so, yeah, you can get any sized rig to fly good as long as you pay attention and get the right motors and get the right voltage and the right propellers and whatnot. But yeah, the thing that makes 5-inch rigs fly the way that they fly is how heavy they are, which allows you to just hurl them hundreds of feet across parking lots and fields and shit. And there's just no replacement for that. What you want to be careful of is what really spoils that is having too big of a propeller and not enough all-up weight. So, like, a 3-inch toothpick, for example, is going to be the complete ass opposite flight experience of a 5-inch rig, in that it has no weight and giant propellers. And the giant propellers act like a giant parachute. So, yeah, toothpicks are the complete opposite end of the spectrum. You need to build rigs that are sort of... So, for example, a 3.5-inch rig, you're going to want that to be 300 to 400. Look, you can just scale it down, right? 5-inch rigs are between 6 and 800 grams. So then 6 to 800 for 5-inch. For 4-inch, you're going to want like 450 grams to 600 grams. For 3.5-inch, you're going to want 450 grams to about 300 grams. For 3-inch, you're going to want 250 to 300 grams. And just down it goes. So yeah, that's the easiest way to sort of think about it if you want something that has that off throttle hurl. Matt Erickson says, I missed the start of the stream, but is that a VFR sectional chart I see back there? Yeah, unfortunately. For the BMX gig, it's within 5 miles of an airport. So I think it's 5 miles from an airport. It's such a fucking nightmare to read these charts. But I'll figure it out. And so I'm gonna have to put a waiver in to Drone Zone. And so that was like a big chunk of my day, was figuring all that out, talking to the fucking production company, and I got anxiety poops, and then I got frustrated, and I just said to hell with it, and I jumped on the DayZ, and I was just like, yeah, I can't be all stressed out like this or on the toilet for the fucking live stream. So I was like, you know what, I'll handle it at 2 a.m. tonight. So yeah, that's my life. That's what you have to look forward to if you want to be a professional shit donkey. I don't know. I'm not gonna say that I don't recommend it, because it is worth it, but it is really annoying. Blake Turner says, oh no, wait, hold on. Kevin the Alien says, do Tramp and Smart Audio use the same pads? Yes. Tramp is just Immersion RC's version of Smart Audio. How about that? I had a VTX camera combo and swapped for a dedicated VTX with separate camera. I use the same TX2 pad, but don't have OSD anymore. Any idea where to start? I had a VTX. First thing I need to know is if it's analog or HD. And if it is HD, I guess I don't need to know which HD system it is, but I had a VTX and camera combo swapped for... Oh, no. If it's Tramp and Smart Audio, it's definitely analog. Swapped for a dedicated VTX. What's... Oh. So you had an old school VTX camera bought brick all in one, and then you swapped it for a dedicated VTX with a separate camera. Use the same TX2 pad, but don't have OSD anymore. OSD is a whole different deal. This is Tramp versus Smart Audio is how you're going to get VTX control over through your OSD. Not having OSD is a whole different thing. So you got to take a step back. But first thing you want to do is take a big step back and just look at your camera, and then there's going to be video out coming out of your camera. That needs to go to the video in on the flight controller where the OSD chip lives. That video is then going to go through the video in pad into the OSD chip, out of the OSD chip to the video out pad on the flight controller. And then that's going to go to the VTX. That path has to happen. That's where your OSD comes from, is the video going into the flight controller, into the OSD chip, out of the OSD chip, out of the flight controller, into the VTX to come to you. So you've got the TX2 pad, Tramp, Smart Audio. None of that matters if you don't have OSD. You're working on a separate issue. And then once you have your OSD back, then you can figure out if it's Tramp or it's Smart Audio. Look up the VTX; they should tell you which it is. But yeah, no OSD is a totally separate issue. Blake Turner says, last question for me. I want to convert Meteor 75 Pro to a Meteor 75 HDZero non-Pro. Are these motors okay after your findings for an average pilot? Yeah, the BetaFPV 1102 22,000s are kind of the best of the motors that I've found for these heavier 75 millimeter whoops. I don't like how fragile they are, but in terms of power, yeah, they're what you want. They're the best case. If they have too much power, you can just motor limit them down and away you go. But yeah, those are good motors for you. Parkour guy says, could my elrs module in my controller be dying on multiple rigs? I have RSSI DBM flashing at 70 to 90 just feet away, and with my setting at negative 120 or so, it drops. Sounds like it is. Yeah, I mean, if it's multiple, if it's different, doing it on different rigs, it's either your transmitter or it's the module. So it's, yeah, or the antenna. It could be the antenna on the module. So try a different antenna on the module first, and then, yeah, I mean, you've pretty much isolated it. Walter says, where did it go? Walter says, I tried, I recalibrated, then it gives good telemetry, but if I go to receiver tab, the AERT beams respond, but visual, no. I checked by flying, it's okay, but Betaflight, no visual. Okay, so I think we're going back to talking about when you first hook up to Betaflight, there's the visual picture of the rig, and you don't have the visual picture of the rig. Yeah, I have no idea, man. I still don't know. I've never had that issue before. Maybe somebody else in chat has had that before. I've not had that issue before. But if it sounds like the rig is flying okay, so yeah, to hell with it. I mean, if it's flying okay, away you go. Metal Dritson says, I can read those charts in my sleep if you need any help with it. I know how to read the chart. It's just there's so much shit on the chart that I can't find the goddamn airport. I just need to zoom more on the chart. Yeah. It's just it's like they need to put like a road or two on the chart so that, because like Google is road based, Google Maps is road based, you know what I mean? It's like, come on, man, give me like at least put a fucking like the major roads. It's just, yeah, I'll be fine. Thank you though. God, it's so aggravating. Oh my God. The fact that there's not the fact that the FAA does not have like FAA.com/ put the fucking address in and will center a fucking thing for, or like they don't have like FAA.com/ put your address in and will tell you what class of airspace it is mind-numbing. I know that there's an application or two on the phone that does it, but like it's just so stupid. It's just like Kevin the Alien says analog. I thought so. All right, cool. Brandon Zwickbean says you probably can do Lance. I use Lance whenever I need to fly in a congested airspace. I use air control to request approval. Nope, I have to do it ahead of time because the production company needs to see a flight plan and they need to see it get put in and blah, 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 blah. I also have to cut another edit for them to look at. Yeah. June Logo says, have you tried the TBS Nano X Pro NDAA receiver yet? I don't even know what that is. I've never heard of that. So I guess that answers your question with a no. Wait, what? What is this? Why is it $100? What the hell? What is this nonsense? NDAA, huh? Fuck is that? GetFPV, can you please make your website work? Long range UHF game. What? NDA. Is this just a Crossfire Nano? With some weird bullshit NDAA designation that they probably had to pay a shitload of money to make it compliant, and they probably didn't actually do anything other than silk screening the letters NDAA on it. I'll bet you that's the case. I mean, I'm assuming that's the case. I have no idea. TBS Crossfire Nano RX Pro is... Oh, higher telemetry output power option. Interesting. I would never in a million years pay $100 for a Crossfire Nano. That's absolutely asinine. And you shouldn't either. I'm assuming that it's because it's NDAA compliant. They probably had to spend a shitload of money to do whatever that compliance is. And it probably doesn't matter at all. I'll bet this is just a regular old Crossfire Nano. Yeah, I have not tried it, nor will I ever. That's absolutely ridiculous. $100, really? Jesus. Christopher Conwright's out of here. Brandon's Baked Beans dropping the CiottiFPV.com link in the chat. Thank you, dude. AJ Farah says, ever thought about a subscriber meetup and fly, grill hot dogs and fly TinyWhoops? I have. I was talking about doing it last year. It's just organizing events. It takes a bunch of time, and like the thing that really kills me is that like I get booked for gigs really last minute. So like I can just see it now. Like I set this thing up, and then a whole bunch of people like are coming in for it, and 2 days before I get the Instagram message of, yo, what's your day rate? We need you for Saturday. And it's like, God damn it. And like, I love you guys, but like, I can't afford to turn down $1,000. And so like, yeah, I'm not successful enough to say no to anything. It's not even just the money. It's getting tied in with the people that want to hire me. Like, the name of the game for me in the last 3.5 years is getting connected with, like, I make most of my money from someone hiring me for one gig and then them being completely blown away and having more work. And so, like, even if it's not a day rate gig, even if it's like an hourly gig, like, I can't say no to anything, because every like 10 or so clients, it leads to a whole bunch more work. And then I make like really, really, really good money on the third, fourth, fifth, sixth job cumulatively. Right. So yeah, it's really, really, really tough. Like, and I would have to schedule a meetup for a Saturday or a Sunday. And those are that's the really hard. Yeah. It's hard for me to free up a weekend. So, yeah, believe me, I want to, but like I would need to wait until things were like really slow, basically. So yeah, maybe we'll do it in the fall. No guarantees though. Sorry. It's just really tough. Yeah. Kevin the Alien says, so the video wire from the cam goes to the flight controller video in, and then the video out goes to the VTX. Yup. So that'll fix your problem, Kevin. I had a funny feeling that that's what was going on. That you didn't have the video running into the flight controller. That's why I took a minute to step back and explain that path. 661 with a little up arrow. I don't know what it's to. Oh, yeah. Kevin the Alien says 661FPV, the auto/NTS thing. Yeah. Make sure that your OSD is set to either auto is the easiest thing, but NTSC or PAL in accordance with whatever the camera is. But it sounds like you had a wiring issue. But yeah, the good call, guys. Thank you for that reminder. If your OSD is set to NTSC and it's a PAL camera or vice versa, the OSD might not show up at all. Sometimes usually it shows up, but it's just fakakta. Rob Axelson says, I may have tomorrow off, but can't do an all-nighter, to all stay safe. Enjoy every day. Thank you, dude. Just Mo says, how you doing, man? I'm late to the party. I'm good. Hopefully you are as well. Frank Nicholas says, I'm 99.9% sure there's an FAA site that you can put the address, flight plan, etc. in for pre-approval. Check with JB and others. I know JB's showing it in one of his live streams. Yeah, it is the FAA drone zone. I've done it before. It's super annoying. But yeah. Off-Axis says, made in the USA. Ah, interesting. Okay. Off-Axis says, it is exactly the same as the China version. Wow. 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 You want to see why nobody manufactures anything in the US? Rightfully so. Wow. This is why nobody manufactures anything in the US. Oh shit, am I gonna be able to do it? Yeah, I can. That is why, my friends. $35 made in China, $100 made in the USA. Good old USA manufacturing. All you gotta do is pay 3 times as much, and it'll probably be let's not go there. I'm not gonna say that it'll probably be worse quality. That's a mean thing to say. Brutal. Kevin Sumner says NDAA is the National Defense Authorization Act, which requires drone gear for government use to be made in the U.S. There it is. Yeah, so it's that is not just the inflated cost of manufacturing in the U.S. That is you know, the reason why America is so fucked, is that, yeah, anything remotely yeah, look, we spend more on our military than the entire rest of the world combined, I think it is. So yeah, there you go. $10,000 for a toilet seat is the quote from Independence Day. Roughly the quote from Independence Day. The quote is, what do you think they spend all that money on? A toilet seat and a hammer? I forget the number though. I think it's like I don't remember. It's a great quote from Independence Day though. Independence Day is an underrated movie. Rob Oxison says, TBS can kiss my ass. $30 for receiver is BS, hence me going to ELRS. It's true. Yeah, I mean, they already charge an unbelievable amount of money for Crossfire Nanos. Just Mo says, rebuilt my Whoop yesterday, and every time I arm, I lose video instantly, and it just full throttles and flies away. I don't have nearly enough to go off of. I would need you to like explain the entire rebuild process. We're not going to be able to handle this. There's 10 minutes left in the live stream. I haven't done anything that's in the stream title. So yeah, bring that to the next live stream, or jump over to my Discord. There's a link on CiottiFPV.com, and the fellas on Discord will get you straightened out. But basically, you need to revisit what you did during the rebuild. You know, something happened during the rebuild. So yeah, look at everything, try to figure out what happened, look for like solder bridges, look for little balls of solder. Yeah, you something happened during the rebuild, or if during the rebuild you put different components in, something's happening with those different components. So yeah, one of the things you can do is like put the old components back on one by one, and at some point the problem will hopefully go away. Kevin Sumner with the CiottiFPV.com link, and I'm finally caught up on chat. All right, here we go. This is from Ray Noland, and this is version 4 of the FPV guide. These are amazing. FPV-guidebook.com. I'm going to type it into the chat. FPV-guidebook.com. There it is. Go check them out. These are awesome. Really well done. These are going to save us in the future, because he has put like all of the wiring diagrams and stuff for these things. And what happens is, at some point, HDLRC is going to discontinue the Zeus Nano VTX. And then as all of the resellers, you know, it goes out of stock and they remove it from their websites, the wiring diagrams will all go away. I have a whole bunch of components from as little as like 2 years ago that there is no record of the wiring diagram on the internet anywhere. Like the internet has been scrubbed of the wiring diagram, and if like hopefully the board's got silkscreen on it. If it doesn't, you're screwed, because you know you can't just send 5 volts to a random pad. The fucker's gonna blow up. So yeah, if nothing else, these are gonna be so amazing for the future when we have these older components that have basically been scrubbed from the internet, and we have no idea where the wires go anymore. So yeah, thank God for Ray making these. Not only that, they've got a ton of really, really, really cool tips and tricks in them. This version 4 has the glide on the cover and CiottiFPV written in the thank yous, as well as on the glide page, build tips by CiottiFPV. Ray reached out to me and I gave him a bunch of build tips, told him about 2 battery straps and the standoff heights, and to send the XT60 out the side. I forget what else. But yeah, really cool that he reached out to me to ask about this, and I gave him some of my little secrets and told him about putting the 20x20 VT flight controller up front and keeping it light and all kinds of good stuff. It's really, really, really cool, man. So yeah, this is episode 4. He's sent me episodes 1, 2, and 3, which live over on the really cool mid-century mod side table over by the guitar chairs. So yeah, thank you, Ray. Very, very cool. Definitely check it out, friends. This is amazing. These are great little guides. Support people that are making stuff like this. You know, like the more we can support making people that make stuff like this, the more stuff like this they will make, and it'll help everybody. So yeah, do it. Love it. Very, very, very cool stuff. And yeah, look, post pics on Instagram. Here. Noland FPV. Hashtag FPV guidebook. FPV Bible. There it is, my friends. Do it. Do it. And he sent a, this is a capacitor sticker. FPV shot 100 proof. For putting on them 750 or 1000 UF capacitors. Wrap it right around there. Make your capacitor look like a little bottle of energy drink. Really cool stuff, man. Hey, he sent 2 of them in there. I love it. Get an F in FPV. Awesome, man. Really cool guy. I got to talk to him a little bit on Instagram Messenger. He seems like a great guy. Love it. So that's mailbag. What else we're going to do? Break down TinyWhoop tricks. We're going to do that in a minute. Mailbag, 6 batteries. We're doing that in a minute. We spent our entire live stream doing Q&A. Great. All right. Hold on. Chat filled up with a bunch more stuff. Walter says, is it Sirius B on your t-shirt? Nope, it's Racetracks. This is actually glow in the dark as well. These are Constellation versions of very famous Racetracks. Laguna Seca down here. I'm sorry, Laguna Seca is up here, rather. This is whatever. You guys don't care about Racetracks. Off Axis says, how do you get funding for something like this? Julius Levinson. You don't actually think they... there it is. There it is. Yeah. You don't actually... yes. You don't actually think they spend $20,000 on a hammer and $30,000 on a toilet seat, do you? Yeah, there it is. Mother Ritson says, wasn't there someone collecting those wiring diagrams? I swear I remember that. I have a little folder where I keep a bunch when I remember. I haven't heard of anybody collecting them, but these books are going to do that for us. It's amazing. Jeremy says, HappyModel's website is garbage. I can't believe all their documentation is on a blog site. Yeah, a lot of these FPV companies' websites are brutal. Denzel says the glide belongs on the cover. Hell yeah, it does. There we go. Cool. Let's break down a couple of tricks that you can do in the house that you might not have known that are possible. But also, like, you have to do things a little differently with TinyWhoops, like power loops and Matty flips. Like you have to do things a little different because of how limited you are on space, and that's really what I wanted to kind of dive into. So let's do it. We'll start off with power loops. Doing power loops inside the house is really hard. Totally doable, but very, very difficult. Never forget that. Never, 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 never forget that any of these tricks where you zero the throttle inside the house are super difficult. 30 plus thousand kV motors help quite a bit because they give you more time to do this stuff. You can technically do any of these with 25,000 kV 802s, but it looks like shit and it's extremely difficult. So get higher power motors and make your life a little bit easier. So let's start with power loops. Not really less flight time. The high when you're flying in the house. So on the right there, 29, 28, 29, 28. That's that's the throttle percentage that I'm at. Oh man, look at those fail safes. Come on, elrs. I'm beginning to think it's my transmitter. Oh man, it's bad. It's real bad. Hold on. Oh god. When you're flying in the house, you're basically at like 30% throttle for the entire battery, and then you're gonna go, and you're gonna blip to 100% throttle for like a split second, and then you're gonna be back to 30% throttle. So regardless, if I'm flying 30,000 kV or 40,000 kV or 25,000 kV, I get almost the exact same runtime inside the house, just because of how little time you spend at full throttle using that extra kV. All right, so power loops inside the house. Number one trick is to start low. Start the power loop as low to the ground as you possibly can to give yourself as much space for the actual power loop. Ideally, you want to come up short like that. You can do these power loops with just a cube. Here, let's go upstairs. I'll show you upstairs. Hi, buddy. Oh, farts. So, I mean, up here, it's a little bit easier because the ceiling is so high, but start really low, and it's going to give you extra space to get the power loop done. So as low to the ground as you possibly can. And that's one of the foundational things to doing power loops inside the house, is to get low. And then that throttle blast is going to kick you up, and you're going to actually have enough time. What I really like the look of is something like that, where you can actually like slow it down, right? Like to do a like that, you can barely even tell that this is a power loop, right? Like if you're going to do it really small, it's just everything is going by, and then all of a sudden you catch it. When I'm trying to do power loops, man, like I'm trying to do them low and then up top. The fan almost got me, right? So that you can actually like slow this thing down and see what the hell's going on. And now, in terms of seeing what the hell's going on, there's another little trick. And it's this extra little throttle stab, right? So the way that some people do power loops is like one continuous, and then what happens is you like come slamming down there. This battery's almost shot. So like what a lot of people try to do, really, buddy? I just flew backwards around the room like that, all slick, and you stopped chasing me? You jerk. That was pretty hot, though, wasn't it? Him chasing me while I... let me show you with the TinyWhoop in my hands here. What a lot of people tend to do with power loops is they pitch back, throttle, and they just leave the same pitch, so it looks like this. It's the same. They just leave the pitch stick back. and it's just one continuous thing. And if you have tons of space to do that, sure. But I still don't think it looks as good. There's a point. So, like, looks cool, looks cool, looks cool, looks cool, looks cool, looks stupid, looks stupid, looks stupid, looks stupid, looks stupid, looks stupid, looks cool, looks cool, looks cool, looks cool. The reason why is that once you get to about here, the camera is just pointing straight up. So it's either just the sky or just the ceiling. And so it looks stupid. So, in my opinion, what you want to do is pitch back, pitch back, pitch back, pitch back, stab a bunch of extra pitch to just get the ceiling or the sky out of the frame, because it's just useless. Also, you're lost. You're full throttle just hoping that there's nothing back here. So what you're going to see me do on all of my power loops is a gentle pitch back until around here, and then a snap. And by the other thing that does, A, it makes it look better because you're not wasting time just looking up at nothing. But also what it does is it lets you spot the landing. When you're full throttle like this, you're hammering across the room blindly. Versus you hammer the throttle here, you jump off of it and you snap it. And then the camera gets pointed backwards and down so that you can see what you're rocketing towards. So notice that. I'm going to do a bunch more power loops, and notice the little snap that I add in. Basically what you're going to do on the transmitter is you're going to pull pitch, you're going to pull down on pitch for the beginning, and you're going to leave it pretty solid, pretty static, and then you're just going to pop it like that. You're going to pop it down into the plastic when you're looking up at this pure sky or the straight up ceiling. And at the same time, you want to jump off the throttle. So it's going to look like pitch down, and you're going to increase the throttle. You're going to be full throttle, and then you're going to zero the throttle and stab down a little bit of pitch, and you'll hear it. I'll fly this next battery in the basement, and I'll shut up so you can hear it. You'll be able to hear when I'm full throttle, and then you'll see the little snap, and you'll hear me chop the throttle right before it. Doggy's very interested as always, but he's lurking behind it. Oh, there he is. I'm gonna give this dog PTSD, man. All right, so just listen. See what I mean? And I'm... Oh, man. What is with the goddamn fail-safes, man? Come on. Teddy. Buddy, come on. See what I mean? Oh, God. Oh, boy. All right. So let me just do... Let me actually try to land one of these. Teddy wants to help. Teddy, can you actually help me, buddy? He's of no help. Oh boy, he's snarling. Oh, come on, man. God damn. Oh God! He's attacking! He's attacking! Alright, so there was one where I went too high. I was probably not low enough. If I'd been... if I'd been a little bit lower, I would have been okay. Nice and low. And see, now I'm too low. Nice and low. Now I'm getting too low. You see the timing? And if I fly really far through it... Hold on. Oh, you know, the giant power loop is a good example of this. Ready? Because of that little snap, because of that little pitch down snap, I can actually see the gate that I'm going through. Watch again. Ready? I didn't get it quite quick enough. Hold on. Ready? See that? That little snap lets me look at those gates that are hanging from the ceiling. And I mean, if I were quick enough, I could make a correction. But I'm old and slow. And I keep flying into the goddamn ceiling! See that? There it is. Nice and low. Yeah. Alright, next is slamming into the ceiling. Because that's happening a bunch. And again, we're gonna take a look at it with the quad in my hands. If you're slamming into the ceiling, hold the quad in your hands. You'll figure it out. You come into the move nose down. You're flying forward. You start to pitch back. And you hammer the throttle. Going forward, you start to pitch back. And you hammer the throttle. If the quad is like this and you hammer the throttle, it's going to go straight up. You need to wait. You need to slowly increase the throttle. As you pitch back, you're going to throttle up more and more and more. It's going to do two things. It's going to stop the forward momentum, right? You're coming into it with a bunch of forward momentum. You got to kill that forward momentum. If you go full throttle here, you're not going to kill any full forward momentum. You're just going to keep going like that. So you don't want to be full throttle here. You want to be full throttle about here. A power loop is not a circle. It's like a V almost. It's here, and then it's back, and then the end of it can be rounded. But the beginning of the power loop is not really rounded, typically. It's not like this nice rounded thing. That doesn't really look good either. If you fly through if you fly under the thing you're power looping, and you wait, and then you hammer the throttle here, and then do that little snap, you can watch the object come and watch yourself go over it, and then you can wrap around it. That's what looks good. Doing like a perfect circle, think about the camera up tilt. Ready? This is the object that you're power looping. You see it. Now you don't see it. If you do it perfectly round, you still don't see it. 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 You haven't seen it. You've just done a big blind 360 in the air. Not 360, but you know what I mean. You want to see the thing that you're power looping, right? It looks cooler, and it gives you the chance to maybe not hit it. So, yeah. Power loops, you're going to fly under and through, and then you're going to pitch back as you gradually increase the throttle. That's going to give you some height. And then once you're up like this, looking at the ceiling, that's when you want to go full throttle. If you hit the ceiling, you went full throttle too early. When the thrust vector was down, was mainly down, you started to add too much throttle. And it's hard, man. We're playing with like 8 feet. We're not playing with a lot of real estate here. So you got to be really low to the ground. And then you want to make sure that you're hammering the throttle late. And so you can think about it two ways. You can think about delaying the point where you stab full throttle, or you want to gradually increase the throttle more slowly. More slowly lean into the throttle. Make sense? And I'll show you what that looks like. You can see me do it because the throttle value is on the right side of the screen, but just listen. You can hear it. You can hear me increase the throttle, and then you'll hear when I blip full throttle. And that is going to tell the tale. Yeah. Yeah. What? Okay. You're just not gonna connect? Oh, there it goes. That was weird. All right, so ready? I'll do it here so you guys can really hear it. I think that went through. It's hard to tell. I'll do it from this direction. And there's kind of like a pacing to it. I barely increase the throttle when I'm pitching back. But I do a little bit. You can hear it. A little bit of a ramp up. And now I'm being like super drastic to kind of show you guys. Hold on, let me actually try to hit this. You can also kind of reference off the ceiling. These gates are lined up with this here. This line, right? So I tend to reference off of that. but you can also reference just your proximity to the ceiling. Ready? Like, getting closer, closer. And it's going to be different for every room, every ceiling, every person, but man, I'm having a hard time today. It is hard, man. It is hard to do. There we go. See how late I'm waiting to go full throttle? Let me try not increasing the throttle at all. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. You want to increase the throttle a little bit when you're going into it. Well, maybe not. Hold on. Interesting. Hold on. Oh, wow. So, you see what I'm doing? I'm pitching back, but I'm not increasing the throttle at all, and then I'm giving one massive throttle blast. Look how different it looks. So, that's what I'm basically doing is I'm creating the giant power loop. I just realized. What I'm doing is this. So that's a whole different. I don't even know if this. I guess this is a power loop, but yeah, that's. I don't recommend you do them all like that. You wanna increase the throttle a little bit. See on that one, I was too close to the ceiling by the time I hammered the throttle. That's one of the things. When I say reference off the ceiling, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to give you an idea of when you want to go full throttle. It's also going to give you an idea when you're going to blow the move. Cool? Those are my power loop tips, friends. This battery did not last for shit. Oh, yeah, it did. I guess I just did a lot of power loops. I got a few more batteries here. So now we're going to talk about the Matty flip, which is just a backwards power loop, and you just reverse everything. County FPV says, I managed to pull off a power loop on a swing set, a park. My daughter said it wasn't tight enough when she watched the replay. Nice. Chick with a stick, how the hell are ya? Kevin Sumner says, are you still using the BetaFPV or HappyModel modules? Those tend to die after about a year. I'm still using the, well, no. This is the... I'm pretty sure it's my transmitter. This is the Immelmann that I have on right now. My other module is BetaFPV, but yeah, it happens on both of these modules, so I'm pretty sure it's the transmitter. I think this transmitter is just getting old. I think it was Rob Axelson that said that he had a buddy who was getting little micro failsafes, and he reflowed all the connections in his transmitter, and they went away. And this transmitter is now like 6 years old. No, it's like almost 8 or 9 years old, I guess. Where'd the video go? There it is. So now we're going to talk about Matty flips. It's just the opposite. It's the complete opposite. Start it low. Same deal. Give yourself as much time as possible. And the throttle blip happens first. Matty flips are admittedly harder. But they're not as hard as most people think they are. I'll get it going here and throw it up. And then instead of going full throttle now on a power loop, on a Matty flip, you're going to go full throttle. I'm just going to throw it into it now. And it's when you're looking at the ceiling. Same deal. On a power loop, when you're looking at all ceiling, that's when you fire up full throttle. On a don't you do it. Don't you do it. On a Matty flip, you go full throttle to throw it into the move. But then you got to catch it, and you're going to catch it now when you're looking at the ceiling. And that's going to do two things. It's going to keep you off the ground, but it's also going to give you the rearward momentum that you need to complete the Matty flip. This is not a Matty flip, my friends. Ready? I mean, that's definitely not a Matty flip. But also... Fuck you! Also, well, that was. Hold on. I'm so used to doing them the right way. Damn it! Hold on. It's hard for me to do it the wrong way. That's not a Matty flip. That's a front flip through a gate. That is not a Matty flip. A Matty flip has to come back. Matty flip has to come back under the object. You know, out in the real world, we don't Matty flip through gates. We Matty flip through like this. What was that? It just died in midair. Oh boy, something happened. Did it throw a prop? It threw a prop. Interesting. No, it didn't. What the hell happened? What? What are you doing? The motor number 3 is no longer spinning. Let me guess. One of the wires broke off. Yep. There's the joys of direct soldered motors. The motor wires break off. Yeah. All right. Well, we got some tips in. Sure would be nice to just plug it back in. Rybread says, stuck between the old and new Mobula 6. If you can find the old one, for the love of God, buy it. Not to mention that the new one's not even out. God knows when it will be. Should I get the 2024 and replace the canopy, or the 2023 and replace the motors? I like the old one. The whole direct soldered motor thing on the new one makes me want to scream. HappyModel has said that they will release a version of the new AIO with plugs on it, but that's not what's going to come on the Bind and Fly, unfortunately. Denzel says, must not have been started by your dad. In fairness, I've had TinyWhoop motor wires break off before. It's, you know, look, they're 30 gauge wires. 30 gauge wires have 8 strands on the inside. That's not very many strands. And if you don't strain relief them, or if you have them soldered down in a way that it's gonna bend where the silicone ends, this is exactly what happens. So yeah, with the plugs, with the plug based boards, the wires going into the plug itself are crimped, so they don't ever really break. And then on the actual solder joint here on the motor, you can put a piece of shrink wrap on the outside of it, and that prevents the motor wires from bending where the silicone ends. So yeah, on a direct soldered setup like this, you can't do that. You can't run shrink wrap around the entire board. So you've just got these motor wires just hanging out, waiting to just bend and bend and bend. And every single vibration, every single crash is going to bend those motor wires, and eventually they're going to break. But what do I know? I just work here. Man, is that frustrating? Because I have to pull this all the way apart to be able to get a soldering iron in there. And that's just stupid. The direct soldered motor thing is just infinitely dumb still, in my opinion. Walter says hot glue. Yeah, technically, but then you got those little stringy bastards that try to ruin your day, and it does have weight to it. It's heavy. Hot glue is heavy. And you're going to have to put 12 dots of it, so I don't know about that. It's an interesting idea. Yeah. Hold on. Let me think about Matty flips. All the same things from power loops apply to Matty flips, because it's just a reversal. It's just the opposite. What other tricks do you guys want me to talk about? And I swear to God, if you say trippy spin, I'm gonna ban you from the entire channel. Anything other than trippy spins, because they look stupid. What other trick do you guys want me to break down for inside TinyWhoop? Something that's difficult to do with your TinyWhoop, or that you don't think is possible with a TinyWhoop. Look, all tricks are just a different combination of stick things, right? Of stick directions. Man, I don't know the names of tricks either. There's the Rubik's Cube. You know, that's just reverse trippy spin. I got you, Q Silver. I got you. The reverse trippy spin is actually one of my favorite moves ever. And it's a move that you can very quickly tell who's been flying a lot and who hasn't. Trippy spins, you don't really have anything to reference off of other than the sky and like the object just barely in the top of the frame. And so trippy spins are never like actually locked in, but reverse trippy spins absolutely are. And they're like such a quick, amazing way to see how long somebody's been flying. So let me show you the reverse trippy spin. Great movement. I do them all the time. And they look fantastic. And yeah, like I said, they're an amazing test of actual piloting skill. Trippy spins, you can just sit there and beat your head into them and like get good at it. And then you can make everybody that watches your footage want to throw up. But for like 2 people, they'll be like, wow, you're super good. All right, here we go. Reverse trippy spin. I'm going to go upstairs for it. Here we go. Here's the reverse trippy spin. Ready? There it is. That's a reverse trippy spin. Also known as an orbit. Trippy spin is a stupid name for it. What it is a tail-in orbit. And this is a nose-in orbit. So this is a reverse trippy spin. Great move. I don't do them to the right very much, so I'm very rusty doing them to the right. I'm trying to force myself to do them to the right more often to get better at them. But this is a reverse trippy spin. This is a much cooler movement. It doesn't make the people watching your flight footage want to throw up. It doesn't have a cool, stupid name. Your camera is actually looking at the object that you're flying around rather than looking at just the ever so slight top edge of it. It's amazing. This is what you want to do instead of trippy spins. Just to prove to you that I'm not terrible at orbits. Okay. Let me just crash like a complete numpty. Yeah, I usually do them to the left. Oh boy, is that sketchy. Wow, wow, I've never noticed. It's really slowing me down. There's the air must be I never thought about that. I mean, it makes sense. So yeah, there's your reverse trippy spin. There's the good version of the trippy spin. Oh, I should have let it drop down. It was going in there, wasn't it? Oh, shit. All right, let's see if we can hit this massive full room power loop. Oh! Oh, shit. I mean, you know I have to try this. You know I have to try this. Let's see. Oh, God, I was really close to the dog's bowl. Try it the other way. Oh, my God, I almost ate the fan. Oh, God, this battery's done. Oh, wow, this battery feels like shit. All right, so there's your reverse trippy spin tutorial. I forgot to give you actual tips. The reverse trippy spin, also known as the orbit, is all about where you put the object that you're orbiting. And so if you want your orbit to be nice and flat and have the object be vertical, all you're doing is basically flying past the object over and over and over again. Snarly boy. So you want to put it on the inside. And it's basically the inside third where you want to put it. So I'm going to force myself to do them to the right again. You want to put the object on the inside third. There it is. The vertical pole is what I'm putting in there. So I'm going to put it off on the right if I'm doing a right-handed orbit. Or I'm going to put it off on the left when I'm doing a left-hand orbit. If you put it in the middle, you're just going to fly into it. Right? Like what you're doing in an orbit is flying past it and then turning and then flying past it again and turning, but you're just doing it over and over again. You're just constantly flying past it. So of course it has to be on the inside because you're flying past it, right? Flying past it, turning, flying past it, turning. So it's all about where you put the object that you're orbiting. And typically you want it in the third, the inner third, like that. If you put it in the middle, you have to lose your horizon and you have to tilt to the left to generate any leftward momentum. Man, it's hard to do it. And that doesn't look as good, in my opinion. And then if you want to put it on the left side of the screen for a right-handed one, you got to really nose yourself over. And this is where you start to see the fact that an orbit, a nose in orbit, is the same thing as a tail in orbit. Because if I just keep tilting here, I will go into a trippy spin. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to make you guys throw up, but yeah. That's the biggest tip for orbits. And with orbits, you're doing what's called stick coordination, where you're rolling right at the same time that you yaw right, or rolling left at the same time that you yaw left. That is coordinating your sticks. For trippy spins, you are cross-coordinating your sticks. So you're rolling left while you yaw to the right. God, it just looks so stupid. Or vice versa. So you're gonna push the sticks to the center or pull the sticks apart on a trippy spin. But don't do trippy spins. They're the move of the mouth breather. One more. Screw you. What are you going to do, buddy? What are you going to do? Eat it? You going to eat it out of the air? Is that the deal? 661 says Immelmann. Great. Perfect. Perfect. Immelmann's it's just a split S, really. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of nuance to the Immelmann-ness, but realistically, it's just a split S. And the key with split S's is A, doing a proper flip turnover so that the horizon is level, and then just waiting to pick up the throttle. There's a motor that's not spinning. That is full yaw. Relax, buddy. I think it got him. I think it would have gotten him. So, split S's you can absolutely do in the house. I'm going to actually recommend that you do the same thing with Matty flips. Start nice and low. Nice and low. And it'll just give you more time to get it turned over. Now, hold on. Maybe don't start so low. So yeah, I do them all the time here. And yeah, like I said, the biggest trick is to get the horizon level upside down. Because then when you come down, you shoot straight out the bottom and you can make corrections. See what I mean? If I'm sloppy with the horizon, it's going to send me a direction I don't necessarily want to go. Although, see, when I'm doing this, I'm kind of at an angle. Let me over-rotate. I'll over-rotate. And now it's going to send me towards the IKEA cube. Hold on. That was just yucky. That was a bucket of yuck. You can also use that to your advantage. Like, so if I approach it going this direction, it's going to pull me out towards this wall. And I need to pull myself back to drop down into this cube. So I'm actually going to purposefully under-rotate this. I'm going to do it really drastic. Ready? I'm going to under-rotate. Fuck you. This is something you might need to do inside the house. Under-rotate so that I can pull it out. You see that? Under-rotate so that I can miss the wall. You can also just get on the throttle a little bit earlier. You can sort of like drag the throttle to affect where it goes. Don't zero the throttle all the way, and see how it pulled it. See how it pulled itself out towards the couch. Let me do it again for you. You hear it? I'm dragging the throttle. And that's going to pull it out. Versus if I just chop the throttle, see where it goes? It goes into the corner. Because we didn't drag the throttle when we were turning it over to pull it out off the wall. I'll do it again with a throttle chop. See that? See where it goes? It keeps going towards the wall. Versus if I drag the throttle instead of just chopping it, see it pull it out? It pulls it out right into the cube. Right where I want it. Alternatively, you can chop the throttle, but then you can add a little blip. Chop it, and then add an extra little blip in there. But you got to be really quick to do that. So it's about how quickly you come off the throttle, and then how quickly you pick the throttle back up. Cool. The lack of latency in these video systems is pretty impressive. Like, it's really kind of absurd. How's that, friends? Does that help you? Whew. What was the other one? Juicy Flick? I don't know. That kind of stuff, like, it just looks silly anyway. There's just shit flying around everywhere. It's like, don't... Hold on. We can do it. What is it? Like, it's like pitch forward and then a full roll and then pitch back forward. I don't... Oh my god, Teddy. Don't actually eat it. I need a little bit of space for this. So I think it's what? It's like, and then it's, oh, there's another bunch of pitch that needs to happen. Hold on. Let's do it over here. My rates are kind of slow. Oh wait, no, that's not it. I'm doing it the other way around. Juicy Flicks suck anyway, don't do them. Oh man, I'm under the fucking... Oh, this quad is going to be black with soot. I might not be able to get it out. Here he comes. Fuck you. Swear to God, if there's a place that I can crash it that's undercoverable, I will crash it. Yeah, I don't know. Don't do the juicy flicks. They're stupid. There's just too much going on with them. And your rates have to be kind of nutty. They don't really have to be. It's just too much. I'll keep trying. Hold on. You're going to have to start it low. You're going to have to fire it up towards the ceiling to do it. I keep forgetting the... Can you tell I don't do them much? Back off, buddy. Back off, buddy. Teddy! Back off! Start low. All right, ready? Start low. Yeah, I don't know if... I mean, there's certain tricks that we can't do. This battery is kind of dead, though. I'm sure I'd be able to do it. If... I mean, if my rates were quicker, I would definitely be able to do it, but... That was it. But see, it just looks dumb. It's too drawn out for inside the house. Like, we got to focus on stuff that's quick. Because otherwise, if it's not quick inside the house, it's just going to be total chaos. Like, shit's going to fly everywhere on the screen, and then all of a sudden, you're going to be in a different part of the room. And it's like, okay, what even just happened? And nobody knows, because you did 18 turns upside down and backwards, and then 14 rolls. It's, you know. So, I don't know. It's doable, but, like, I don't like the way it looks. And, like, you know, remember, we're filmmakers as much as we are fighter pilots. So, in my opinion, do the shit that looks cool. And then more than just other FPV pilots can have a chance at watching your stuff and not vomiting. So there you go. There's a couple of tips. Don't do certain moves, which is true. Like, it really is true. Like, there's certain moves that just are not well suited for TinyWhoops inside. Can you do them? Sure. But they just look silly, and, you know, there's lots of other stuff that you can do that doesn't look silly. So do that. Power loops, Matty flips, very difficult, very, very difficult. Never forget that. But totally doable, especially if you kind of dial a couple of things in. QSilver Media says, do mini schnauzers have hair or fur? They have hair, like people. Maggie and I are both very allergic to cats and dogs. And so, yeah, we picked the... we were only looking at breeds that have hair instead of fur, so that we could not die. It's always good to not die. This poor thing, man. What an abusive relationship I have with that quad. And all of them. QSilver FPV also says, I'm pretty sure CiottiFPV made the AIO sell out that one day. Yeah, we sold it out. We've done it twice now during a live stream. It's kind of funny. QSilver says, is there any TinyWhoop 65 worth buying today? I can't find anything. Nope. I hate that that's the answer, but nope. County FPV says, what's the one called when you flip inverted and spin 180 back to level in the opposite direction? I think what you're talking about is an inverted yaw spin. Inverted yaw spin is another move that we really can't do inside. Inverted yaws, you go inverted, thus the name, and then you yaw, thus the name. And you can do 180, you can do 360, whatever. But yeah, you go completely inverted and then you yaw. One of the main problems with doing this inside the house is that everything that we do with TinyWhoops inside the house, we have to do quicker. We don't have the time. We don't have the hang time. Even with really low weight, really high powered motors, you have to speed your pacing up with TinyWhoops. It's just the name of the game. With inverted yaw spins, the way that these motors make yaw is two of the motors break down to damn near 0 RPM and two of the other motors ramp up. Well, if you do one of the tricks to inverted yaw spins is to do them very slowly, because the braking force is pretty weak, and you want to maximize that braking force because you're inverted. If you do a fast inverted yaw spin, the braking, it can only brake the motors a little bit. So the other two motors are going to hammer, and they're going to make a shitload of thrust, and it's going to suck you down to the ground. It's going to really pull you down. So with inverted yaw spins, you want to do them very slowly. Inside the house, we don't have the time. We can't do them slowly. So then we do them faster, and now two of the motors make a ton of thrust, and that makes the situation even worse. So inverted yaw spins are just not really something that you see with TinyWhoops unless you're in like a fucking warehouse. Like, I could maybe knock one out upstairs if I perfectly timed it with the way that the roof does this, but like, I don't know. I've tried them a bunch, and I've never really been able to get it clean. It ends up just sort of being rushed, and I just don't like that. I don't like, if you're just gonna rush a move just for the sake of saying that you did the move. Like, I have no interest in that. Like, I want it, if I'm gonna do something, I want it to look good. If it's gonna have to be rushed and it's gonna be just shit whizzing everywhere, I'm like, well, let's just not do that. Let's focus on the moves that actually look cool and work. So yeah, inverted yaw spins, unless you've got like a warehouse with 15, 20, 25 foot ceilings, it's going to be really tough. But it's just, you know, inverting, and you can do it with roll, you can do it with pitch, whatever. Getting the rig completely inverted and then just slowly yawing it around. And then when you're done, you're going to come roll or pitch or whatever back out of it, and that's it. Inverted yaw spins are pretty straightforward. The trick to inverted yaw spins, though, is to do it as slowly as possible, to maximize the two motors that are braking and not to make too much thrust on the other two motors. It also looks much better. You're asking a lot of your viewer, right? You're flipping the entire world upside down, which most people don't experience, like, ever. Right? Like, most people walk around right side up and drive their cars right side up for their entire lives. You know, most people don't learn to do handstands. They don't move their head upside down. So you're asking a lot when you invert the entire universe. If you're going to invert the world and then fucking 360 it really fast, there's no shot anybody's going to be able to track what the hell's going on. So by doing it slowly, you're going to actually give people a chance to, like, oh, that's kind of cool. The other trick with inverted yaw spins, or the proper pronunciation, inverted jaw spins with a J, is to mind your up tilt. If you put the rig perfectly like this, that's going to be yaw. That's yaw. Great. But that works if I've got very low up tilt because it's a TinyWhoop, right? My index finger is where the camera's pointing. If you've got a bunch of up tilt and you put the horizon in the middle of your frame and then you yaw, it's going to look terrible because it's going to be all off kilter, right? Because of the angle that it's at. So you need to figure out where your up tilt is, because ideally an inverted yaw spin has the frame perfectly flat so that you can just yaw around. You can cheat it if you're running like 30 or 40 degrees up tilt. You can cheat it and run it like this by coordinating your sticks like an orbit, right? When we do an orbit, we're not flat. If we were flat, we wouldn't go anywhere. When we do an orbit, we're nose down, and then we're coordinating the sticks to get it to do this. And you can do that with an inverted yaw in the same way. But the better way to do it is to just know where your up tilt is at. Basically, like, if you're at 0 up tilt, then you're going to put the horizon right in the middle of the screen. If you are 30 degree up tilt, you're going to put the horizon here, but you're upside down, right? So it's actually kind of going to be here. But just do it a couple times. The way to do it, in my opinion, is go upside down, put the horizon somewhere, pay attention to where it is, and then just yaw. And if the whole world wobbles, you didn't have the horizon in the right spot. Do it again, put the horizon up higher. If the world wobbles, put the horizon down here. Try it again. At some point, you'll figure out exactly where the horizon needs to be so that when you just yaw, the horizon spins around perfectly flat. And just remember that point. That rig with that up tilt, that's the exact spot where you need to put the horizon line to have it be flat. If you're only going to use yaw. If, again, you can cheat it. I do it a lot. You can cheat it by coordinating your stick, so you don't have to be tied down to the horizon line being in a specific spot. You can do an inverted yaw with the horizon down here, up here, in the middle, wherever. You just have to work with coordinating the sticks in the same way that you do on orbit. Cool? Off axis says it's up, up, down, down, left. Up, down, down, left, right, A, B, select, start. I do select start because I used to play Contra 2 players. I didn't have Contra, my buddy had it. AJ Farris says, thanks for what you do. Thank you guys for supporting me. 661 says, read County FPV trick again. That's an Immelmann half power loop, half roll to level. Yeah, Immelmann has it's a little bit different. There's something a little bit different to an Immelmann. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's like a backward split S. But like, I don't know. Yeah, I was wrong. Immelmann is so it's a power loop, right? This is a power loop. It's the beginning of a power loop, but then you just roll out of it. So like when you're going up through the gate, basically. Here, I'll do it. It does. I don't really think it looks very good, but it's a move. You know when Immelmanns happen? Immelmanns happen when I do a power loop and I hit the ceiling and crash recovery turns on. It doesn't. Yeah, and it's also like when people chicken out of power loops, they Immelmann. It's like it's yeah, it's a little bit of like a chicken out kind of move in a way. But that's okay. Better than crashing. No, it's not. Crash. Do the harder trick and crash. It's fine. Here's an Immelmann. Connect, you bastard. Connect. Come on. Oh, my transmitter's not on. It's never going to work. Here you go. Ready? Come on! Express LRS. Do the thing. You can do it. It's probably in Wi-Fi mode. Didn't feel like 60 seconds. Oh wait, no. I hooked up the I put the wrong quad. Put the battery in the wrong quad. Here's an Immelmann. For real this time. Fart. Okay, get ready. So it's just... Nope. It's this. Wow. Hold on. Man, I gotta really recalibrate. It's just, it doesn't look all that good. Hold on. That's basically it, but I keep putting yaw in there. Hold on. So, half power loop. Great. Come on. It helps if you're like you could practice it in like parking garages. Like you exit one floor of the parking garage and then you flip up to the other floor. That was basically it. Never give up! Sometimes give up! Whew, shit. Immelmann! There it was. That was it. Okay, so I'm actually cross-coordinating the sticks to do it. All right, so let's talk about that super quick. Like, this is a regular roll. Fuck you. With low up tilt, the rotational point is relatively in the center, but it's a little bit low. The center of rotation. This is a cross-coordinated roll. See the rotational point is up higher? Looks more like a barrel roll. That's what I'm doing at the end of the Immelmann. I'm doing a cross-coordinated roll. Otherwise, it just doesn't look right. So, half a power loop, and then I'm adding a little bit too much yaw. Jesus. There we go. That was a good one. Yeah, I'm being sloppy with my yaw. There's one. Hey, actually looks kind of cool if I time it right because of the round gate. Let me do them in here. Yeah, there's a really interesting timing to them. I don't really do them much. Yeah, I'm way too heavy on yaw. Or oh boy, that battery just shit its pants. Yo, look at the lack of latency. Ready? This is going through the fit like. How? How is there so little latency going up into the thing, into OBS, into the information superhighway? It's crazy. It's all the batteries I have, my friends. No more trick tips. We'll do that again. That was fun. Thanks for being cool, my people. See you guys on... I'll see you Friday. I don't think I'll see you Monday. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I'll see you Friday, though. I'll know Friday. Did I say Monday? I meant to say Sunday. I don't think there will be a live stream on Sunday. But I'm pretty sure there will be one on Friday. Is that wishy-washy enough for you? Chomper! What's up, homie? How you been? 36,000 kV motors. Who'da thunk it? Who'da ever thunk it? All right, people, be good. I love you. Bye, 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 bye. Here's some more flying at that crazy hotel in, I believe, Miami Beach. Yeah. NCL Miami. Yeah. Be good, friends. I'll see you Friday, probably.